Yes, got it. Thank you. Okay. And all of my notes. Sorry, seriously, we uncovered a couple big things in our session yesterday, Amanda and I was like deeply into writing about radical responsibility and listen, like I actually just wrote the sentence before you sent me that text of like listening to that almost imperceptible whisper of what that truth is. Like, remember, like you, well, I not even remember, like you so know that piece that you have to get so humble to hear that little bitty whisper of truth. And it was like, oh my God, like that was like you have to be anyway, that's where I was in that deep piece of writing when you sent me the note. So sorry, I was just like fully in that zone.
Man,
Okay.
I hope that this doesn't just
No, I literally had told myself when you sent me that note of like, okay, we got 20 minutes. What are we going to do in 20 minutes? And that's literally what came out. And I was like, oh, that's big shit. Okay, now I know where I had these notes. Okay, so yesterday I spent, I don't know, probably a good hour like looking at journals online, really looking at yours, um, making notes of what I want. And let me tell you a couple things that I'm thinking about, and I would really love to like chat this through and kind of see like the pros and cons of what I'm wanting to do. So the purpose of the journal in the first place is after the book is out, I mean, I'm going to give it a couple months to be out. Then I'm going to offer depending on the chapters, 10 chapters, 12 chapters, I will offer that many months of a workshop to go with it so that we can deep dive into each chapter of the book and they can, have the journal to go with. So one of my first questions is, do I segment the book into, or the journal into 10 pieces, 12 pieces, whatever, or leave it open? That is a big question. And in segmenting it, I will definitely have like different writing prompts throughout like each little section in the section one. I will have several different writing prompts, and then section two, same. I'll have like a title, several things. My only thought process behind this is, what if chapter one, person A needs 10 pages or however many, like I've allotted 10 pages. They need 12 pages. But person B only needs 5 pages, which is fine. They just don't use those pages or they'll come back to like, I'm like, the logistics of cutting someone off when they're in the flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me see if I have. So you've probably been to like seminars before, right?
Yep.
Have you been to any of like Tony Robbins seminars or anything like that?
Not Tony's, no, but I've been to seminars where we get, a
Like,
bound
yeah,
type of a journal, and it's got all of the stuff that it's guided.
it's guided, and like in mine, I fill the spaces up and then I go to these other places in the book and fill pages in. So my seminar notebooks are like just jam packed.
Yeah.
Every blank surface is filled. And so I've also witnessed people like not like, I don't know. So I think what I love is that there is allotted space right there, like right there. Like it kind of invites you into the space, and it says, this is a suggestion for how to fill this, but have a journal simultaneously next to it, or have some blank pages
Mm-hmm.
somewhere that if the person is on a roll in this one segment, they can like overflow it into that space. So you like having like an invitation for that space that's not like intimidatingly huge, but then inviting, like having
Right.
blank pages sporadically like added in,
Mm-hmm.
or even the suggestion, like even though I have my journal here, I also have this journal, which is like totally blank, that is like, well,
Yep.
this is the extra journal that accompanies this journal in case I get on a flow and I need to, you know, so
Yeah.
that could, because in creating your own journal, there is kind of a logistical, there's a higher cost to you to be putting those blank pages in. It's like more tedious when you're making the journal to have those extra pages in.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and oftentimes it can feel intimidating to a person who needs less space.
Okay. So as you were talking, several things came up. The first thing that came up like almost automatically was, oh, so you're actually creating this container for each chapter. Like it's instead of like this particular one that I have right now is great. Like I love it. It's not specific to anything. Like it was from Gabby and it was for her book. And the reason I bought it again was because I seriously love the watercolors on the pages. Like to me, it just, I just love it. And
Mhm.
every once in a while, there's like little words, which to me, here nor there, got it. But what I just love is, yeah, the watercolors, all the different colors. But as you were talking, I was like, oh, right. This is just a full on journal. It wasn't purposely created or for the purpose, like I want to create it. In segmenting it chapter by chapter, it does actually create a container, like almost like it feels like a little safe space for someone to write about everything happening in chapter one for them.
Yeah. Like it's an invitation into,
Yes.
it's not so much blank space that it's like intimidating, like, what should I be doing with all this space?
Right.
But it's like, oh, like it creates enough of a vacuum that people want to fill it.
Yes, I would agree. And so in saying that, I will have probably a little paragraph or something about how to use this. And, if you need more space, there's, space at the back, or grab your own journal to like overflow, whatever that reads. Okay, I think I really like creating sections. That feels good.
Mhm.
Because it feels like I'm just left to go, like that just feels too wide open.
Mhm.
Okay. 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 Yes to that. I do. Oh, and then I was absolutely going through yours as well, like looking at yours and all the prompts, which thank you for having that sitting right here on my desk because I got to look through that going, okay, like what about this is like definitely stuff that I would love to include in mine too. And I love all the different prompts that you've got and the encouragement that you have. So that is what prompted me to be like, oh, I definitely want to have like these little things included in there as well. Okay. And I hopefully I'm going to chat with Amanda. She currently has a head cold. So I may talk to her tomorrow because I'm like, okay, also in creating this, when I chat with Morgan tomorrow, I mean, it's literally our very first conversation, but like, I don't even know like what the color scheme of my book is going to be. And so I want it to have some sort of flow into the journal. I mean, it doesn't have to look identical, but like if the book's going to be green and yellow, then I want the journal to have some sort of green and yellow.
Mhm.
Um, right. So Amanda and I are like going to start that conversation. Yeah, hopefully tomorrow or Monday, which is like, woo, here we go. um, okay. I just want to throw this out. The journal, like it needs a name. So the book is called Becoming Tara. Is the journal called Becoming? Is it called Becoming You? Do I just leave it as Becoming?
Becoming sounds amazing.
That
Becoming,
was
yeah, like, so it means so many things, right? Like that is so becoming on
mhm.
you, and you're becoming this, and this is be always coming to the surface. Like, I don't know. I like that a lot.
I did too. I did too. Okay, great. Becoming. Done. Um, okay. So, okay. I was asking myself my own questions in like ask or like acting that I was already chatting with Morgan or chatting with anybody that would be wanting to create the artwork, for this. And so I was like, all right, so what is this whole book about in becoming me? It's becoming the divine feminine, right? So, like, in the becoming you, you are actually beginning to embody, you're becoming the divine feminine. So, all right, so then what does that look like? What does the divine feminine look like? And so, awakening is a very big part of the book. It's almost like the underlying theme. What does awakening look like? So I'm like asking all of these questions. So um the divine feminine and awakening. So it's soft and gentle, but it's very strong with strength. It's it's in the soft, gentle being, but it's also in the doing. It's very malleable. It's going deep within, not afraid to feel, allowing for her wisdom, unapologetic for herself, patient, submissive to the flow of life, the flow and the creation of life. And when I say submissive, I don't mean, lying down and doing nothing. You know what I mean by submissive to the flow. Okay. Um, in her fullness and her fullness of her body, the fullness of herself, the fullness of claiming her. It is love. Oh, God. It is the sacred power of our source energy. It is the force that brings everything into existence. Whew. So, those are everything that I wrote down. So then I'm like, okay, well, what does this look like? Like, literally on a piece of paper, what does this look like? So, like, I know it's like trying to bring the universe down to one little bitty thing.
Oh my gosh, you're never gonna believe.
Oh,
Keep going.
what?
I'm gonna tag you in something on Instagram right now that I just saw, and it's
Okay.
everything. It's everything that you're talking about right now. Cute.
Oh my God. Okay. Um, yes. So in saying all that, so then I'm like, I literally pull up, Google images, right? Of like, and then type in some of these words and see like the color scheme, like what comes up for color schemes. And it's so funny because let me pull these out. So in like when I'm writing and taking notes, like I have to like color code everything to delineate like, oh, I'm changing my thought process. Like I just
Yeah.
change colors, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the whole thing, like all different colors. And so my colors that I use are like these colors.
Mm-hmm.
And so I type in divine feminine and everything that I've just, said to you, and literally all of these like jewel colors come up. And so the colors are like bright, like, or deep purples, or like this deep blue, and these greens and pinks. And so, like, all of this is coming in. And of course, there's women, like the silhouette of a woman, which I love. Like, in just like this expansiveness of her being, like with the universe in the background. And I have like 10 images that I'm going to send Morgan. And so, but in saying that, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud. I'm almost afraid that in her 17-year-oldness, she won't encapsulate everything that I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. That's literally everything. And in saying all that, I don't even know what I'm asking for.
Visuals are, it's, I don't know. So the thing about visuals is they're kind of forever. Like once you pick them, they stay. And they're also,
100%. I know.
yeah, they represent, and they're also so like, there's so many, there's like an oversaturation of visual stimulus, right? So there's so many
Yes.
like visually stimulating, beautiful things. And like, I don't know, when you were, I was also getting like a silhouette of a woman in like you know how you see those pictures of space that show all the stars in like a configuration.
Yes.
So I'm like picturing this like configuration of stars that's like suggesting the like flow of a female body. And it's like got that kind of space fog around it that's like lit up and illuminated. And it's got like a
Yes.
black background with like white stars in the background. Like in my head, I've got a picture, like you very clearly painted a picture for me. And
Well, that's pretty much the picture I was sending you.
yeah, like I got the picture. And I think that even though Morgan is young, like they're what you're very, very articulate at expressing. Like you did transfer a like image to me. And
Okay.
I don't think that there's going to be a like I'm an intuitive girl, but you all it's I you very clearly articulated exactly the picture that you're seeing in your mind's eye. And so your
Yes.
translation is clear.
Okay.
And I know that they're like in what I would do immediately, which Morgan has her own tools, is I would go to Canva and look at pictures of space that are available on Canva. I go to NASA and I would look at pictures of like space, and then I would put one of those high def images into Photoshop and move some of the little pieces around to create something that looked even more like a female body. So
Mm,
I'm not a graphic artist. I don't use Photoshop, but that's what a graphic artist could
me
do.
either.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so even if you have like an image, I'm not exactly sure what if your question to me was, do you hear what I see? My answer
I
to
think
you is
that
yes.
was a question.
Yeah. My
Okay.
answer to you is I hear what you see and I see what you see. Now, if you're working with someone that knows how to create what you see, that's the
Yes.
ticket. And if she doesn't know how to create what you see, it is okay for you to work with someone else.
Thank you. Like she was the very first person that popped into my mind when a couple weeks ago, I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do with people that have read the book. Like, I want to create this. Okay, I need to create a journal. Oh, I need artwork for this journal. And she is the very first person that pops into my mind. And so, because Lynn has shared so many of her different pieces of artwork, which I had loved. And so she popped into my mind. So, in saying that, Lynn has expressed so many times, like when I even brought it up to Lynn, of like, would this be even something you think she would want to do? I gotta let my dog out of my office here. She said, oh my God, she's such an old soul. She's really intuitive, um, which I loved hearing. That was really good feedback, confirmation. And she had also, after saying something to Morgan, said Morgan had then responded back to Lynn of like, oh, I have been really wanting to get into computer design. This sounds exactly the way that she's needing me to go. Um, so that was great. Um, the only thing I think that the only fear that pops up is that also is that she had told her mom at one point, like, God, I just want to create my own stuff. Like, quit telling me what to create. I just want to create my own stuff. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's my hesitation, is like being super clear, but then going, here, you do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think maybe in your conversation, you just ask her if she feels confident to create some mock-ups of this. And
Yeah.
are you going to be paying her for this?
For the mock-ups?
Or
I mean,
like,
initially, yes, but I don't know for the mock-ups.
I'm not sure, like, I'm not like, so what you could do is, at like, tell her that you have a very kind of specific idea in mind, and you're wondering if she's technically able to create something like this, and then explain it to her similarly
Mhm.
to how you explain it to me. And then say, um, like, have, uh, I'm not saying have an exit strategy in mind, but I am saying have a
Right.
have an idea in mind of what you're willing to pay up front to like get the ball rolling for her, or if she's doing this to like build her portfolio. I'm not really sure exactly what the agreement would be, but if there's a way that you could compensate her for the work that she does do, even if you don't choose to go with her design, like,
Mhm.
so you're basically, you're having a conversation, you're testing out whether or not she feels like confident to bring this into the
Okay.
world. And if she feels confident, then maybe suggest a small budget for creating some initial visuals, so that when she creates that, you can decide if you want to step in more fully.
Mhm. Oh,
It's
we're
almost,
recording this. I don't know why I'm taking notes, but
yeah,
that's
it's
right.
okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because that way, like, the thing that can get tricky in this situation is that, like, either you're treating her like a friend's daughter who might be getting some practice, and whatever she
Mhm.
does, you might use it or you might not, and it's not going to like hurt anyone's feelings, right? There might be that scenario. Or you're like, no, actually, I really want to, I'm very serious about this. I want to pay an artist to create this design. I have this budget to complete it, but I'm willing to put in a little bit to test the artist to make sure that we have the right artist.
That feels good. Number two feels way better than
Yeah.
number one.
So you're not, you're like deciding on your own, what is my budget for creating this work? And you're, because the cover is really important. And I will also
Mhm.
say the cover's less important than the cover is less important than, it's really, really important. And it's coming with your book. And so it's a little less important than, it's not the thing that you're leaning on to sell it, is what I'm trying to say. It's actually an accompaniment to
Right.
your book, and your people will buy it without even knowing what the cover looks like. So it's
Yeah,
like
I would
important.
totally agree.
Yeah. And then on like a totally different way of looking at this, more, you could decide to like really invest in Morgan, and she could come up with an original piece of art that you end up using on your book, like in a completely, like, maybe it wraps your entire book, and like they both match, but one of them is the accompaniment and one of them is the like your actual book cover. And you might ask Amanda, what does she pay? What's a general rate for someone to design original art for a book cover? Because that will also inform what your budget is. And like,
Okay, that's
and
mhm.
so, potentially this work that you invest in, it might actually be like ultimately work that you stand behind and utilize for lots and lots of things.
Literally that whole thought process came into my mind as well.
Mhm.
About like when you started talking about like, well, what if this whole thing, and in the flow of her artwork coming into everything else, that popped into my mind yesterday too, and I thought, oh, okay.
Mhm.
Um, hmm,
Like,
yeah.
I'm seriously seeing a picture of, there's like dark, deep space on the perimeter, and then there's like space fog, and then really bright lights toward the center that kind of create this like really feminine silhouette. And there's like bright points. There's no lines, there's just kind of bright points that look like stars or energy. And
Mm,
it's like you've got like some of the space colors that you see in the space images. It looks like it's a technical space image, but you can tell it was designed specifically. And it says so many things, right? Like we are cosmic, we are material, we are light, we are a network, we are like it just says a whole bunch of things all at
Mhm.
once. And that
Mhm.
that like I see the back of that image wrapping around your book and having like a spacescape along the back of the book that's like beautiful, and it's like a beautiful constellation around the back, but that front is this just light coming through deep space.
Mhm.
So this is like sort of the image that I received from you.
Oh my God. Well, so you said it wraps around and then the front is just this light, which then actually would tie into the light that I saw when I was watching Tara come out of the box. Like that light was so bright and profound, I couldn't even see her
Yeah.
when she was with, yeah, when she was with the rat. Like it was so blindingly bright.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
so,
pretty like
oh,
it's
go
a
ahead.
very like dramatic and beautiful image. And now it's just a matter of like, can can Morgan splice existing images from space to create a unique constellation that says divine feminine becoming
Mhm. Mhm.
Tara.
Right. Well, and now I'm even thinking of the book cover because what Amanda and I had talked about for the book cover, I mean, we've talked about it loosely, was I have all these little pictures like, okay, hold on. I'll just show you this real quick. Um, can you even see that one? This is
Oh
like
yeah.
in 1970. That is me with a microphone right there.
So cute.
Thinking, I mean, like I knew I was here, like to be on the stage. And I kept telling my dad, like, I need to be on the stage. And so he hooks this whole thing up with his like reel to reel tapes. And I stood there with my microphone. And so I have several of pictures like this that I refer to in the book of situations of like, I can remember this picture of me, blah, blah, blah. And so throughout the book, I have different references. I also have beautiful green Tara.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we thought of was a collage of these different specific moments. But as you're speaking, what I am now seeing is everything that you've said. I love the whole wrap around the book. I love that it comes around the front. So now I'm speaking of the book and not the journal. So the book, as it comes with that huge light and somehow weaving these, because this is the becoming, like these pieces and these other pictures that I have is this whole culmination
Yeah.
of coming out into the light. Oh, I love this. And then the journal would be that feminine body. Like these pictures would not be on the journal. The journal would be the same with a depiction of like that soft, full feminine piece of however that comes in
Mm-hmm.
of becoming. Oh, this is what I needed. Oh God, thank you for holding this with me.
Yeah, of course. I love this stuff. I love it.
Oh,
The creative process
yes,
is
thank
so
you.
incredible.
Isn't it? Like, yes, thank you. Because I knew I needed to talk this out before I chatted with her because I was like, God, I'm not even tapping into half of what I'm supposed to be. Like, I can't get this out. And yes, thank you for holding this with me to get this out with me. Whew, yeah, I feel good. I feel like we did what we're supposed to do.
Great. Yeah. Like, so just logistically, before you get started with your container with Morgan, I would just jot down some like personal parameters for you so that you know the way you want to enter, like, and she'll feel respected, being treated like a person who you're considering as a professional artist for
Yeah.
your work, and so treating
Yes.
her that way will actually make her feel like she'll call herself forward for it.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
And also letting her know it up front, so you're managing her expectations, that you're going to be talking to maybe a couple of artists, maybe not, but you have a vision in your mind, and
Hmm.
you'll know when you see it.
I love that. That is managing expectations because otherwise I'm kind of going in like, is this
Yeah.
you or not you? And yes.
And so, and you would do this with any, like, if Lynn was like, oh, I know a graphic artist, I'm going to introduce you to them, like, here, I'll set up a conversation. Like, this, if you actually elevate Morgan to a position of graphic artist and
Mm,
you acknowledge her as such, that will create a very clean container, and she won't show up as Lynn's daughter doing something on the side for you.
agreed. I 100% agree with this.
So she'll decide, does she want to take, and she'll be honest with you. Like, when a person's also faced with like, listen, I have a small budget to create some renderings so we can see if we're moving in the right direction. Does that budget feel good to you? I'm hoping to
Hmm.
receive 2 or 3 renderings that are similar to what we're talking about, or maybe 2, and then one that is like your idea, right? Because
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
open to the artistic license that she brings to the table. And does that feel adequate to you? And then you created kind of a due date, because it's like a
Hmm.
project.
Hmm.
And so does that seem good to you? I know she's going on vacation to Mexico, so there's a few little variables
Right.
in her world. So, she's going to have an opportunity to step in as a professional and say, for that amount of money, I can produce 2 to 3 renderings, and I can get them done by this time. And then we'll decide if we're going to move forward with the full rendering.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, this feels great. Thank you. It has, as you're speaking, I am so grateful for all these logistics because it's been 6 years since I've been in this space. I literally have forgotten this. Like I wouldn't have said any of this. I've forgotten it. So thank you for the reminder of the space that I'm holding.
Yeah, like it's super, like, there was a girl that wanted to do some cover work for me too. And it's funny because whenever I step into something, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a legitimate container. People self-select themselves out of containers if they're not in agreement with the container.
Hmm.
Like,
I know. Yes. And I agree. I love how you reminded me of telling her what I want and expect calls that up from her. I absolutely know how to do that. Like when I go to have a conversation with George or with one of my boys or anybody for that matter that I want to bring them up to a level, like I just even setting that intention, boom,
mhm.
without they don't even have to know what they're doing, right? It just comes there. Like because you've set the intention, you've like called it out and they're there with you. So thank you again for that reminder of being in that space with her.
Yeah, she'll love it. Like that structure and those boundaries, it'll make her feel, it could even like influence the direction of the rest of her life.
Yeah, right? Mm. Whew, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually going to as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna listen to this so I can make some more notes.
Okay,
Um, yeah,
cool. I
thank
have
you.
another call at 3.
I'm
I'll
great.
I'll get this uploaded and sent to you as soon as I can.
Yep, no worries, because I'm gonna finish what I was writing. So if I get I'll just say if I get to this now, great. If not, I will get to it first thing in the morning because she and I chat at like 4 o'clock your time. So
I'm gonna actually process this while I'm on my other call. So I'm gonna
oh,
focus on getting it to you as soon as I can.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. See you.
Okay, I'll see you again soon. All right, bye.
Okay. Bye.